Evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone had a great weekend. I wanted to start a new video series. It's about 2 to 3, maybe sometimes 4 stories, news stories that I'll be following for the week, especially how they impact the stock market and my stock portfolio. And so I just want to get into talk about some stories that I am currently thinking about. So let's get into it. Number one is Facebook, right? So Facebook's had a pretty rough 3 months, I would say. Around July, June, there was obviously the news story broke that they were selling people's personal data, right? So that really hurt them, and they lost a lot of shares and a lot of customers and a lot of people doubting Facebook. And then just recently, there was a Facebook hack. This time Facebook wasn't sharing people's data, but it actually, I think the total number was around 30 million people might have been hacked, and it wasn't anything dealing with people's passwords getting stolen or anything. It was more that Facebook had this algorithm that gave you tokens if you didn't have your password. Whatever, I don't know the specifics, but in the end they were hacked, and obviously that again impacted the stock market. I mean, their stock. And the reason why I'm picking Facebook is I feel that their sell-off, right? Obviously last week there was a big market sell-off. Their sell-off kind of happened before the rest of the stock market. So I really wanted to see how Facebook responds this week. And in the face of this hack, wrapping itself up, but also, I feel like maybe Facebook is coming out and it's head towards positive trends, before the other stocks, because the market recovery is just beginning, and we don't know if it's going to continue or not. But really want to know how Facebook responds, and this upcoming week, if it does stabilize and starts trending positive, because they've had a rough 3 months, and they still, Facebook is still very powerful. Obviously, it's one of the FANG stocks. As Instagram stories, super popular. There's talks about them monetizing WhatsApp, a very popular text messaging service. So yeah, just want to know how Facebook responds this week. So that's story number one. Stories number two is the stock market itself. So we all know that Friday was recovery day. A lot of people were buying. I bought some options contracts. And I did buy some ETFs, about 5 ETFs for FTN, but again, following the news story this evening, the Dow futures are predicting are falling Sunday evening. The S&P 500 futures and the Nasdaq futures are also falling a little bit. So there's not major points, but they are down. I think it was like 0.67% for the Dow futures. And the futures are predictors, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% correlation, but they do have a good predictor. And really want to know if the stock market recovery is solid. So I think everyone's gonna be paying attention to this. And I also want to know how, I guess this is like maybe 4 stories, because the other story is how the Saudi Arabian market, which is being heavily impacted right now due to possible sanctions that the US and the UN might put on them because of that one missing Saudi Arabian critical journalist is missing. Again, I won't go too much into that, but want to know how that might impact the stock market, and obviously if the sell-off is over. Are people now, have they locked in their profits, ready to buy a lot of stocks that 2 months ago with these current prices people probably thought were very attractive and cheap, but we'll see. So definitely want to know if that stock correction is over and we are ready to move forward. All right, and the third and final story I am really following is the marijuana legalization in Canada. So I have over 30% of my portfolio is invested in marijuana cannabis stocks, ETFs, and options contracts. So my options contracts were slammed really hard the last 2 weeks due to the market sell-off, especially last week. They're almost worthless at this point, but you never know. a lot of the cannabis stock companies did rebound on Friday. Tilray made a good comeback. Cronos Group, I think, came back 10% on Friday. Canopy Growth also came back, and the marijuana ETF also made a comeback. So, want to know, October 17th is Wednesday. My options contract expire the 19th. So we're really going to be, following this news story very closely. How much is the October 17th date going to push these marijuana company stocks up further? So obviously I'm hoping to go further so that I can hopefully hit some of my options contracts. Right now they're all not close at all to being, close to being in the green, but you never know. Sometimes it just takes one day and you might be able to get it all back. So yeah, that's the third story I'll be very much paying attention to. And then after it happens, like I stated in previous videos, how much of a sell-off of the marijuana stock companies might start happening, because that's also a lot of fears and concerns that right now the marijuana stocks especially, are very overvalued, overinflated, and that once October 17th hits, a lot of them will come back down, because it's all pretty much based off hype, promotion, and not any real fundamentals. So really pay attention to that, because I do such a large investment in that sector. I would like to sell my stocks off and lock in the profits before it obviously dwindles down. Even though I do very much believe in marijuana stocks and marijuana companies in the long run, but in the interim, don't want to lose all those profits I did gain. So those are my 3.5 if you consider the Saudi Arabian news stories that I will be paying close attention to this week. Want to know what people's thoughts are on that, or any stories people are also paying attention to that I didn't list here. Would like to know that, because as people know, the world news does impact the stock market. This is something I didn't know until I got into the market heavily. But yeah, world news, political news, it makes major impacts on the stock market. So if you enjoyed the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully everyone has a great trading week.